I-24 News Morning Edition on this January 5th, 2016. And the headline in the Israeli news this morning, or maybe over the course of the last several days, is Sarah Netanyahu. Sarah Netanyahu went into police questioning yesterday for the second time within a week, after 7 hours of investigation were not sufficient last Thursday. Now, this criminal investigation revolving around suspicions of financial misconduct in Netanyahu's residencies is not just about the Netanyahu family using or not using public money for private uses. For many, it is also a test case of law enforcement ability to operate under heavy political pressure. We cannot discuss this or take a closer look at this without I-24 News diplomatic correspondent Yael Lavie, who joins me in studio this morning. Good morning. And before anything else, let's take a look at your report about Sarah Netanyahu and these investigations. Break it down from there.
The Netanyahu family has known many sensations and scandals, but never has it been facing such an explosive situation. For the second time within a week, the premier's wife, Sarah Netanyahu, was questioned yesterday at the high-profile crime unit of the Israeli police. The suspicion, alleged spending irregularities at the couple's residences. The story begins almost 2 years ago, when former household workers accused the Netanyahus of abusive behavior, revealing alleged misconduct in the couple's residences. Those allegations sparked a state comptroller report, published last February, which exposed irregular cleaning, makeup, and electricity expenses, raising the suspicion that private expenses were documented as residential expenses. The state comptroller's report became into a police probe last July, which focused at first on officials at the Prime Minister's office and residence. The inquiry now reaches a culmination with the questioning of Sarah Netanyahu herself, which was approved despite the family's attempts to abort it. The Netanyahu defense line is to deny any crime and any involvement in the financial misdeeds. Political pundits have raised the possibility that Netanyahu himself could be questioned later on, and that indeed could be a serious political shakeup.
I-24 News diplomatic correspondent Yael Lavie with me in studio. I think above all, Sarah Netanyahu has been in the headlines regarding this investigation over the course maybe of most of Netanyahu's latest term in office. How serious is this?
Well, it seems quite serious since there was a second investigation yesterday. It took almost more than 4 hours, and according to several reports in Israeli media, she might be summoned again because there have been some inconsistencies within her testimonies.
Two testimonies.
Yes. But of course, if you ask the Netanyahus themselves, this is all part of a concerted attempt to overthrow them, and this has been the constant defense line. And when you look at what the political reaction has been to this, if in Netanyahu's words, persecution, or in our words, law enforcement, at the end of the day, it has assisted Netanyahu because his claims that he is being persecuted or her claims that she is being haunted by the media have actually convinced their own home base. When you look at the previous elections, just a month before the election, exactly a month before the election, the state comptroller released the report, this controversial report about the irregular spendings, and their lavishing lifestyle was in the center of, in many ways, in the center of the election campaign, and still he succeeded to win a landslide victory last March.
In the last elections, but I'm asking you this, first of all, the details of this investigation. What is at play here? There's what we call Bottlegate. There's what we call the electrician bill. But the main claims is what? Is that money was used in the Netanyahu's household to do what?
Well, there's a few topics that are under probe. There is an electrician who was summoned to the private home of the Netanyahus in Caesarea on Yom Kippur, allegedly paid by state funds. There are hundreds of thousands of shekels spent on costly food deliveries, even though the residence employs an in-house cook. There are extravagant cleaning expenses. There is the Bottlegate, which has to do with the deposit money from bottles that the family gave. They're extravagant. There's the furniture case. There are a lot of things under investigation. There is now a suspicion that Sarah Netanyahu's father, who was living in their home for a few years before he passed away. There's a suspicion that the treatment, that the cost of the treatment was rolled on the state instead of being on the private family. All of this, of course, alleged suspicions at this point, but there's a growing assumption in the political system that at the end of the day these things will add up. That at the end of the day there's just a mass of suspicions that will stick to Netanyahu and might harm him. And we should say that Netanyahu is under a big trauma from his first term between 96 and 99. He was then also the couple was also interrogated for similar suspicions. Actually, both cases then were closed, but this is something that has traumatized Netanyahu, and he is definitely very much engaged in trying to abort this investigation. We do know that the family's attorney appealed to the Attorney General, asking him to not to move forward with Sarah Netanyahu's inquiry. The Attorney General, the current Attorney General, Yehuda Weinstein, did move forward. So this is definitely a bombshell from Netanyahu's point of view, and a political bombshell if this will move forward. And the question is, how much did Netanyahu know? Was he involved? Can you implicate him inside, or will he be implicated, in this whole interrogation?